Hello guys. This is Durza here, and I'm going to be looking at a series from round 9 of the ZU Summer Seasonals. So if you don't know, I'm a ZU staff member on the council, and the seasonals are kind of getting close. So this is from a round 9 game, and I want to talk about this games between Pohjis and LightPinkYoshi. Pohjis is a very, very good player. He's Snake manager right now, and he's known for his playing ability in many, many tiers. I believe his best tier is Ubers, or at some point it was. And LightPinkYoshi is a ZU main. He was actually just recently added to the council. He is very good, and a friend of mine as well. So, looking at the teams, I imagine that Pohjis is running a very standard build. It looks a little bit older because, Roselia kind of fell out of favor with the rise of Ariani as a T-spec setter instead, and generally was seen as a liability. Also, Grumpig stopped being used as much, even though it's a decent answer to Rotom Frost, which is ever present in this tier because of its thick fat, allowing it to switch into blizzards, and its natural bulk allows it to be not taking as much from Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, even though it is annoying that it's able to be Volt Switched on. Gabite is an interesting rocker. It was more used in the Lycan Rock meta, but it actually looks like it has a decent matchup here with the Rapidash and the Dugtrio Alola on LightPinkYoshi's side. LightPinkYoshi is running kind of a strange build. I don't really know why he brought this team. It's Dusclops, which is not the most common pick. It's generally seen on very, very bulky teams, and even then, Stall's terrible in Z right now. We lost Pugamuku, which is the best unaware user in the tier until it rose up to PU. And also, LightPinkYoshi has a Kekunan, which I imagine is some offensive variant. Maybe the Assault Vest set, which is the most popular right now. It Silvally looks like an offensive Silvally, I imagine. Probably something like Dark or Fighting is very possible, even a normal. And oh yes, on Pohjis' side, I imagine he's running some kind of Fire Water Grass core, which was used a ton earlier, and with Rapidash as the Fire type, Roselia as the Grass type, and I imagine there's a defogging Silvally Water, since that is one of the best defoggers in the tier, and none of the other Pokemon on his team can actually defog or spin. So I want to get into this game. So it is Silvally Water as we see here, and Dusclops comes out. Pohjis is going to switch to Grumpig, which is kind of an interesting play. I imagine he doesn't want to get it Toxic, even though I don't understand why he'd want Grumpig Toxic anyway. Maybe he's expecting Will-O-Wisp. So, Dusclops, LightPinkYoshi just goes for the Seismic Toss, which is interesting. I would have thrown off the Toxic if he had it. I'm not sure what his set is. And so, LightPinkYoshi goes into Kecleon, which makes me immediately think that it's the Assault Vest set, which is very, very popular right now, which runs knockoff Sucker Punch or Fake Out with Drain Punch, and then some other move. It can be Fire Blast, it can be Power Up Punch, it can be an Elemental Punch, what's very up in the air on what can run. So, yes, by that damage we can see it's Assault Vest. He goes into Gabite and knocks off, so he's going to be losing his Eviolite, taking a bit of chip, which is not the big of a deal, but he lets it get Toxic, which I think is a very interesting play. I don't know if I agree with it. He had a pretty decent play into his Rotom Fan, which does not mind getting Toxic, and Gabite does not usually run Dragon Claw or Outrage. It's usually it's Toxic Protect, Stealth Rock, Earthquake, or something of that sort, because it usually runs Protect for its ability to scout out Rotom Frost's move, since Choice Scarf is the most common set, and it can scout if it's trying to Volt Switch on a predicted out, because it obviously fears Blizzard. so it can use that to scout for an advantage. And then Toxic, obviously, works well with that, with Stealth Rock being, it's bulky, it's very bulky, it's good rock resist. So I would have personally gone to Rotom Fan if I was LightPinkYoshi, but he lets Kecleon get Toxic. Without its Violet, Gabite is taking damage here. So here he opts to go to the Rotom Fan, and Gabite will protect on the defog. So I definitely would have gone the turn before and avoided letting Kecleon get Toxic. So he Air Slashes there, which I also disagree with that play, because he needs to get rocks off for Rapidash and for his own Phantom. So I don't know what his Silverleaf form is, and now I'm pretty sure it's an offensive one since the Rotom is defog. But I would have defogged there again, especially since Kecleon is Toxic and it can't really afford to take much more chip damage. So here comes Electivire, possibly predicting a Volt Switch to get the Motor Drive boost. And it wall charges, and that does nothing. That is absolutely nothing. So that is a physically defensive Rotom, and he defogs, gets the rocks off. It goes into Dusclops, which has pressure, and Electivire subs up. I've never seen that before. That is a very interesting set. It's going to be a pain for LightPinkYoshi because now it cannot Will-O-Wisp Electivire. And it Earthquakes, and that does nothing. So actually LightPinkYoshi will win this war here, so he's forced to switch out. And he Seismic Tosses again, which does 33 Resilient. And okay, so he goes into Dugtrio, presumably scouting for Toxic or a poison move, fishing for a poison if he runs Sludge Bomb. But he just sets the T-Spike, which looks like a pain depending on what Rotom form it is, or Silverleaf form, because Rapidash is going to be getting chipped even easier. Dusclops hates getting poisoned. And so yes, it is going to be a sub, so this is going to be a sub-toxic variant of Dugtrio, which it uses its very good speed to abuse. And yep, it's going to Toxic Silvally, which is kind of big. And so now it's going to be getting worn down, and Silvally has no recovery, obviously, so it gets chipped very, very easily. And this is Pohjis' form of hazard removal. So he goes into Kecleon on the double surf. I would have kept subbing up for a little more chip damage on Silvally and force it out, because Kecleon's getting low because of Toxic, and then it can't afford to switch in much more. And so it's taking Toxic damage, and he goes into Gabite on the Drain Punch, and that does not kill, but it's going to be doing a lot in Rough Skin plus Toxic damage. So he goes for the Shadow Sneak there. I don't know about that play, because now Kecleon is all but dead. So there we go, Kecleon goes down, and Electivire is in. So he goes into Dugtrio, and Pohjis ends up sacking Electivire, which is an interesting play. I don't know his Silvally form, it could be Water since it's one of the most common, so I might have saved that. And Flare Blitz, wow, Dusclops is so bulky, but the Toxic is going to be a pain for it. Oh, and it has Rest. Interesting. So it's Rest, Dusclops. So it's going to be a pressure stalling set. And he doubles into Rosita. That is an excellent play by LightPinkYoshi. He covered the double Flare Blitz again. And so Grumpig's taking a lot from that. Wow. And that's thick, fat Grumpig. Oh, and that's an interesting play. So this will be a Pinchberry Recycle Grumpig, which usually runs something like Mago Berry to allow it to restore HP. It runs Substitute as well with considerable amount of speed. And so he predicted the double Flare Blitz, and LightPinkYoshi made a smart choice going into the Rotom on the free switch. So he's going to get the Toxic Spikes off and take very, very little from Psychic. So Dugtrio comes back in on the Psychic, and it does 22. So Pohjis looks like he's just going to sack his Gabite here, and this is looking like a huge pain, because it's probably Scarf Rapidash, which is why he's sending it in here, but it gets worn down very easily. We don't know his Silverleaf form, and I'd say LightPinkYoshi has a clear advantage here at this point. So he goes back into Dusclops catch-all. I believe it's Scarf Rapidash, so it's not going to be taking that much. And he goes into, wow, another double. Okay, so he knows it's Scarf from the damage and the way he's playing it. So he's trying to gain momentum while also not risking much because it is Flash Fire Rapidash. So that's very, very good for LightPinkYoshi. Oh, and that's bad. LightPinkYoshi misses a Mega Horn here, which would have killed the Grumpig 3 times from this range. And that is very unfortunate because now Grumpig will be able to kill Rapidash with Focus Blast. So it is Silverleaf fighting, which is an offensive Silverleaf. It runs U-turn instead of Parting Shot because of fairy types like Mr. Mime, which actually blocks it with Soundproof, as well as just being an offensive physical fighting type, which there are not that many in this tier besides like Monferno. So I assume it's going to U-turn here, and he does. So this can go right into Rotom here and scout out the move, and he ends up bolting out for momentum, but that activates the Mago Berry, which is going to be quite a pain because now he's going to be forced to U-turn, which will not kill, and Pohjis will likely recycle here. Yes, he does. And so he's back up to 72, and LightPinkYoshi is going to continue to volt out into Dusclops. So he's going to recycle it, so now he has his berry back, and that does absolutely nothing to Dusclops. Dusclops is now Rest Talk Seismic Toss. That is an interesting set. And wow, that does absolutely no damage. And actually that's an unfortunate HP number. But oh wow, what a play. What a play. He predicts that LightPinkYoshi will go into his Dugtrio and Focus Blasts. Wow, that was a very good play. But Silverleaf can come back in and freely U-turn. And he will go into the Rotom, which can volt out for free again. Or he just hard switches into Dusclops, which is very interesting. I don't understand that play. Maybe he's scouting for the Ice Beam. But he does get to play right, and Roselia will come in and Dusclops will rest up. So I assume Roselia will set up another T-Spike and attempt to poison. Okay, he Sludge Bombs. Fishing for a poison, and wow, LightPinkYoshi misses. That is very bad. Another crucial miss for LightPinkYoshi. And so now Pohjis will switch out, and LightPinkYoshi will U-turn into Rotom. And so now Pohjis is forced to either sack this Silvally or... Wow, that... Okay, so the reason LightPinkYoshi hard switch there is to prevent him going into Grumpig, and which would not kill it and activate its Mago Berry again. That was another great play by LightPinkYoshi. So Grumpig's just going to try to Shadow Ball, maybe fishing for a drop, but he's not going to get it. And so that turn is just nothing. He goes for Psychic, and he will Rest Talk again, which he's just pulling bad Sleep Talk rolls, which is unfortunate. So Roselia will come in here, and he will Seismic Toss. So I assume Roselia has Synthesis. It does. And so LightPinkYoshi will continue to Seismic Toss, and kind of stall out some of those Synthesis. Oh, so Roselia is dual spikes, Talk Spikes, and regular spikes. Seems like he's going for a poison here. I'm not sure there's much he can do against this Dusclops, and I think this just wins the game at this point. It is Wisp, even though it hasn't not revealed it before turn 51. Seismic Toss does not kill Grumpig, which is interesting, but again, I don't think that this can do anything versus it, so it's getting chipped every single turn now by Little Wisp, which is very good passive damage. So Pohjis is just going to Shadow Ball on the rest. I assume that LightPinkYoshi is going to attempt to get it right down to like 26-27%, so that Seismic Toss will kill. But that may not happen depending on rolls. So yes, it is 26% here, so now that was exactly what LightPinkYoshi wanted for this Seismic Toss kill. And so now it seems like he's just fishing for a poison, he does not get it. And so now Roselia is going to be running low on Synthesis PP by this point. And yeah, I assume that LightPinkYoshi will win from this point. So I will fast forward these turns. And he gets all layers up. Rapidash comes back in. Yeah, there's nothing he can do against this. This just wins the game. Oh, gets the spikes off again. because now there's no more spikes for Dusclops to risk anything, and nothing can break Dusclops. Yeah, and LightPinkYoshi will take game 1 of this series. Alright, so game 2. I actually know Pohjis' team because I helped build it. I didn't build it, but I helped look at it because it was built by Kushalos for the other metagames, Snake Draft Week 1, and Kushalos is on my team. I'm a manager for the Audacious Bisharps, and this is the team he brought. It is Scarf, Frigadier, and bulky Calm Mind or Ikorio, along with a bulky Rotom Frost and Lurantis, which is very interesting Pokemon. LightPinkYoshi brings another, it looks like a hazard stack with a lead Crustle and then Perugly to give Defiant Boost to prevent Defog. His Silverleaf looks, I'd say it's water on this team because he needs a good fire resist since he is running the Abomasnow. And on that note, the Oricorio is looking extremely threatening, as well as Lurantis, which runs a Leaf Storm superpower with either Defog, Synthesis, or Aromatherapy, depending. I assume it's Defog on the team because of the Oricorio, which is 4 times Rock Leaf. So, sorry, I'm at school right now, so I'm recording this. So, he's going to lead off, which is Scarf, and it is water, Silverleaf, and it's going to U-turn with his Scarf, and Silverleaf will U-turn as well, which is interesting because Silverleaf Water usually runs Parting Shot because it's not threatened by anything, and not threatened by Mr. Mime, which would block it out. And so it generally prefers the ability to just pivot out with Parting Shot and lower the opponent's offensive stats while he is pivoting. So Abomasnow comes in, it might be a Scarf set, it might be some Z-move variant, Grassing Z, or a mixed set. Abomasnow is extremely versatile in this tier. And so he'll go into his Rotom Frost. It is defensive, so it's going to be taking absolutely nothing. And Rotom will be getting a lucky recovery. He double Blizzards. Hey, sorry, I took a quick break because I had to do some new school, but we'll get into game 2 now. So, Pohjis, he's bringing a team that I helped in the process of making. It was built by Kushalos for the other metagames, Snake Draft Week 1, and I am his manager for that. I am a manager of the Audacious Bisharps for a metagame, Snake Draft, and he won the game with it. So now he's using it here in game 2 of his Summer Seasonal game versus LightPinkYoshi. LightPinkYoshi, I imagine he's bringing some sort of spike stack team with Lead Crustle and Perugly, which can take advantage of Defiant with Defog boosts. Pohjis' team is Scarf, Frigadier. It's a bulky Calm Mind Oricorio, and Choice Band Golem, Rocks Pawniard, and a bulky Rotom Frost, which is a great switch into Rotom Frost, and it's Pain Split, if I recall correctly. And it's just good. It's good against Abomasnow in this matchup, and if he's running some sort of specially based support Silvally, it will be very good versus that as well. Lurantis is Superpower, Leaf Storm, Defog, and Synthesis with physically defensive to act as a switch in for the ever popular Golem, even though it usually runs Rock Set. So, and Choice Band can break through with Stone Edge with high rolls, physically defensive Lurantis, but that is generally uncommon, and so Lurantis can defog on it, it can set up on it. So Lurantis is looking like a big threat for LightPinkYoshi, especially if his Silvally is something like water, which is very common, or it could be dark, which is also pretty common. Dark, I don't see why he would run dark on this team. He kind of needs some kind of support, pivoting support with Parting Shot. So let's get into the game. And it is Silvally Water. Silvally Water. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, so I'm just going to say whatever I want. So I imagine that Pohjis will probably just U-turn here. He is Scarf with Toxic Spikes. And LightPinkYoshi can either, I don't know his set, it has a lot of coverage, it could be Bolt Beam. It's most likely Surf, Flamethrower, Toxic Defog, and he could be running Ice Beam over Flamethrower, but generally Flamethrower is a better option for stuff like Road and Frost. And so he's going to U-turn here and go into the Lurantis, while LightPinkYoshi U-turns there, so he's going to go into a Bomb Snow, try to throw off Blizzard, but I imagine Pohjis will go into his Road and Frost here since it is bulky with leftovers. He'll take very little from what I imagine would be Blizzard from LightPinkYoshi. And he does go into Rotom on the Blizzard, and it does nothing, 13%, and it's getting leftovers recovery and not getting Hail Chip. So LightPinkYoshi opts to double Blizzard and get a Bomb and Snow Will-O-Wisp, so that means if it does have Wood Hammer, it's not going to be very useful. Wow, so he goes straight into Electric Eye. This team is extremely Road and Frost weak. And he takes 50 from the 100% accurate Blizzard. LightPinkYoshi reveals that he is All Out Pummeling, which could be Z Cross Chop. And he's sub, which you see 2 sub Electivires in this series, which is very uncommon. So he's Z Focus Punch. That is very interesting. But he's going to Superpower and boost up, and that does 29% because of Lurantis being physically defensive in this game. Cross is going to come in, and Pohjis will Leaf Storm. And this is looking very, very bad for LightPinkYoshi this game, Game 3. He's going to use this opportunity to get up his rocks and boost up again here. I imagine Pohjis will defog these away. And even though he's going to be losing his leftovers there, yes, and Pohjis does defog those rocks away. And Crustle will continually get them up. And so Pohjis will try to take advantage of this as much as possible before defogging. Alright, so it is the duel after it's Crustle. So what Pohjis has to do is just attack here, yes, Leaf Storm here, KO Crustle, and then hopefully defog on whatever comes in next. But he won't be able to defog on the Bomb Snow, so he'll go into his Road and Frost, which is taking rocks damage, but it won't be taking very much from even a crit Blizzard. So it can Pain Split up here, or yes, it's not defog, so it can just Pain Split, or throw off a Blizzard. Since unless he's Flamethrower, he's not going to be taking that much. It is Surf, and so it does live, but it'll just die to Hail Chip. And so Frog is in for free now. He can just U-turn on the Fake Out, or go hard into Golem on the Fake Out. And LightPinkYoshi is a good play and just U-turns hard out into a Bomb Snow, which can now throw off a Blizzard or a Giga Drain, depending on what it has. And it just Blizzards, which does a considerable amount to Pawniard. I can't remember if it's a Z-move pawn. I believe so. No, it's Z-move or Ikoria. And yeah, that's where the burn comes into play by letting him get wisped. And yeah, this game is an absolute beatdown for Pohjis. He's just going to play safe, sack the Rotom here. He's going to go into the Bouvalant, which could be a Swords Dance set. I know that LightPinkYoshi does like Swords Dance Bouvalant. Even though Assault Vest was more common, yes, that is a Swords Dance there. And it looks like LightPinkYoshi is just going to lose right here. Yes, since the Golem is running at speed, because it is Choice Band offensive and not especially defensive Golem with rocks. So this game is over. LightPinkYoshi can do whatever he wants. It's not going to make a difference. The game is over, and so the series is now tied at 1-1. Game 3. So, alright, so Pohjis is bringing a very standard core, balance core. It looks like a very standard balance team. One of the most popular balance cores right now is the combination of Marani and Bronzor, which have Hazards, Regenerator, and great defensive synergy. Sea King has been a more popular choice lately because of Rotom Frost being so dominant right now. Lightning Rod, in combination with its water typing, is able to pretty much wall it. There are different sets. I personally like the Z Haze, which restores its HP back to full. It gets interesting support moves. Its knockoff, which is great. Scald, which you can fish for burns, and usually the last move's up to choice. But it can run a Sulfa set. It's a lefty set. And I've seen offensive sets using like Mega Horn and Drill Run, but I'm not huge fans of that. LightPinkYoshi is using some sort of Chatot offense. It's either that or the BHM is going to be a setup. I think that looks by the looks of this team, it looks like Swords Dance Leafeon, even though it could be Choice Scarf. Chatot looks like Choice Specs, but it could be Nasty Plot. So we'll see this. I don't know what his Silvally form is on either team actually. Because LightPinkYoshi's builds, the series haven't looked the most standard lately. So we'll have to see. We'll get in the game. At least Chatot. And it is a Silvally Dark, which I imagine is to trap things like Grumpig, which can run Stallbreaker sets that can bother this team. So this is going to be very threatening for LightPinkYoshi, as you can see by the BEM and the Bronzor. So it could be very well that he's running a Silvally Fighting type right now. So I don't know how much speed is on that. So it could be Scarf, but it's actually Silvally Water. So this Silvally Dark is going to be a pain. So they're going to continue U-turning. And so this is going to be completely walling this. Even an Adelaide boosted hidden power is just going to be 25 to what I imagine is physically defensive Bronzor. So they're going to trade rocks, and interestingly enough, his switch-in is actually Leafeon, which is kind of strange. Silvally Dark also makes an excellent knockoff switch-in because they do not get the damage boost from knockoff due to their memories and ability preventing from being knocked off. These guys are just going to continue to pivot around, and so LightPinkYoshi is going to be forced to get something poisoned, something the likes. So Pohjis is going to Swords Dance up here, and this will probably claim a kill here. And LightPinkYoshi doesn't really want to sack anything because he's already at matchup disadvantage. So he's going to pursue, and it crits, while Bronzor rests, so the crit did not matter very much. So I imagine Pohjis is just going to multi-attack here. Yes, and that does 83. So LightPinkYoshi did minimize damage there. So he will get his kill, but Pohjis does have the sack fodder for something like to keep rocks on the field, which I think he'll do now. Yes, and he does, which is a very good play, because now something's getting poisoned, Chatot's taking rocks damage, and just generally everything's getting chipped. So he's going to go Chatot, and he's going to scout the move with Bronzor, because I assume it's a Choice Specs or Choice Scarf variant. And so LightPinkYoshi predicts the double, and goes into BHM, which I think he will just throw a Psyshock off, yes, and that Oka. So I believe that is a Specs Analytic Psyshock right there. But it's still walled by Bronzor, unfortunately, because of the 4-times resist, and Pohjis will just throw off a Psywave. So everything's getting very, very badly chipped. Flamethrower, which is used to hit Tangela, is not doing much. And I think that Pohjis actually just wins this game hands up because he has no switch into a Bomb Snow, which is probably Scarf. And it's Z Celebrate Leafeon. That's very interesting. With Psywave does 55, and so Bronzor can just protect, and it will go down to poison damage. BEM comes in, which is walled by Bronzor. So he just goes into Mariana to sack it on the Shadow Ball. Wow, that does so much damage. That thing's powerful. So he just knocks off the specs and Shadow Balls for the kill, and so Bomb Snow should clean up right now. And that should be the end of the series. Oh, well, he switches into Rotom. Okay, and then he goes in Ice Shards for the kill. So Pohjis does win this series versus LightPinkYoshi. And I think they were very good games. I'm not sure about LightPinkYoshi's team choices. Pohjis brought very standard teams. I understand that he had help from Kushalos, who's a very good ZU player. And so I hope you guys enjoyed. I just wanted to give commentary on this game. So, yeah.